What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. It is Chris John. I am coming at you guys with another video. Welcome back. Survivor 50, episode 12. Recap, reaction, all of that good stuff. Just in time. We do have the finale coming up in just a couple days, so this is getting uploaded on Monday night just to make sure it is up with enough notice for you guys to digest it leading up to the finale. So we are going to talk about the happenings in episode 12 right off of the heels of a double elimination where we saw two separate tribals of small groups, one where Emily Flippin went home and one where Ozzy ended up going home, unfortunately. I like both of those people, but they had to go. It was their time, unfortunately, in the game of Survivor. Also, coming into this episode, just want to put my claim out there. I am team Cirie, Devins, and Tiffany. Those are my three that I was rooting for coming into this episode, straight off of the Emily and Ozzy vote out. So we come back from those votes. We get a quick aside from Devins, who's making note of that being Jonathan's move in front of everyone. You know, he did win that advantage that allowed him to vote in both separate, interactions and tribals, and as a result of that, it ended up sending Emily home, but also Ozzy home, which was his big move that he wanted to get done. So Devins is going idol hunting because obviously he is at the bottom of the totem pole. He's the lowest hanging fruit. If anybody's going next, it looks like it's Devins. He's escaped death twice, but I'm such a big Rick Devins fan, and I'm hoping he can find it, honestly, when I see him going on this little scavenger hunt for it. But everybody else is privy to it, and they sick Jonathan on him to kind of stop him from doing it. Joe's laughing about it because Joe doesn't like Devins. So we get to immunity challenge. Balance a table while stacking blocks to spell immunity, where they pull the rope and they have to do it either fast or slow. But in this instance, slow and steady wins the race for the second time because Joe wins it, and Joe won it in his original season. He's really good at this. He stays steady the whole time. It seems like other people might be catching him or passing him, but they always end up losing their balance and pulling it forward or doing a jerking motion and lose all the blocks. But Joe, I don't know what it is about him. Man, that guy can get locked in on that. He goes super steady, super slow. He wins, and he also gets reward. He gets to bring along two people for a reward. He ends up taking Cirie and Rizzo, which are two people that he wants to work with, especially Cirie. Cirie has kind of been, one of Joe's favorites to work with outside Jonathan. So those three say that it seems like Rizzo is probably the easy vote, and they're trying to talk about Rizzo potentially using his idol, which he has gotten away with not using up to this point. Rizzo still has the idol, though, obviously, and Cirie and Joe suggest, he should use it. Now, this is double-sided. Of course, they want to keep their allies safe because they're working with him, but they also want to flush the idol because they don't want to have Rizzo having something that separates himself from them, right? You need to make it look like you're on even leveling, even playing fields when you get to the end. He never had a one-up on me, or if he did, now he doesn't. All the tricks are gone. So that's ultimately what they're hoping to accomplish there. Tiffany, on the other hand, back at camp, mentions to Devins wanting Rizzo out and how he does still have that idol and how they need to flush it, and then he's going to get comfortable if he doesn't have to use it again tonight. He can just keep it all the way until the final five if he needs to. Aubrey is also considering that about Rizzo, but then she's noticing people are annoyed by Rizzo. And while in most social scenarios, if somebody is annoying you, You want to excommunicate them, or at the very least separate them from your group. You don't want somebody that's annoying, contaminating the waters, just making it not a pleasure to be around Cam. But in Survivor, reality television, where the end goal is to sit at the end with people that you think you can beat, Rizzo falls perfectly into the plan that Aubrey wants. She wants somebody like a Rizzo, a quote-unquote GOAT at the end, because she thinks that people are going to want to vote her over Rizzo. She's probably right about that. I don't think Rizzo has a lot of equity, a lot of support in the jury, if I had to guess. That's just me. Rizzo doesn't want to play his idol to the next tribal. So they're at 7 right now, and he wants to at least save it till 6, it seems like. And the plan gets brought up to Cirie, but Cirie's not on board with the Rizzo vote since they're allies. So, kibosh. And that's one thing about Cirie, man, is he's bring up her allies' names. She is super loyal. She might be a master social game player, master strategist. She could turn everything around. But if you are one of her people, you're one of her people. You got to respect that about Cirie. Jonathan is down to get out Rizzo. So Tribal does come. Devin says he's the one going home. And it has, because he didn't find the idol, it does seem that way, despite the secondary plan for Rizzo. But Evans ends up playing his shot in the dark because clearly he really doesn't think he has a shot of staying. Rizzo doesn't play his idol, confirming Tiffany's suspicions. And Devins ends up going home. It was all pretty much Devins, 777s. And so that's one of my 3 favorites that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode is gone. Rick Devins. I really was rooting for him at this point. Devins wasn't my number 1 favorite coming into the season, but he did grow on me more and more as the season progressed. And I was hoping he could maybe be one of the final 3 and have a chance of taking it home, but not to be. Next day, we get the aftermath of the Devins vote. Tiffany is expressing that Rizzo did exactly as she said, and he didn't play the idol. And so, listen to Tiffany. We're Team Tiffany, man. We are Tiffany FC over here. Tiffany FC, Cirie FC, long live Devins FC. He's not here, obviously. I mentioned from the last tribal council. So, she mentions to Jonathan and Aubrey about getting Rizzo next because he once again avoided playing his idol. But once she leaves, Aubrey says to Jonathan, hey, we need to get Tiffany out. She's a great player. And they're right, she is a great player. But no, don't get Tiffany out, because I want Tiffany there. I don't want Aubrey, I don't want Jonathan there. But I want Tiffany there. Please believe. Rizzo's in on it and tells Cirie. Cirie listens and all this, and she's kind of been working with Tiffany on and off here. She's not the number 1 ally of Cirie, but they kind of have a bit of a bond there. It seems like they formed. And she also asks Rizzo, well, what if Tiff wins immunity? Do you have a backup plan? And he's like, no, not really. And she's concerned about that because she feels like, well, if there's no backup plan, it's probably going to be me because I'm also not exactly in with that crowd either. But yeah, just a clear oversight on their part there. Also because Tiff has proven herself to be a good competition player in this game. She won a couple immunities already leading up to this point, and she had one that she almost won, but in a technicality where she hadn't put her foot up yet, she lost it out to Jonathan. But yeah, Tiffany is very much a threat in challenges, so you had to have the backup plan in the tuck just in case. In immunity they must complete the challenge and then spell a word with blocks in an arch formation. The word ends up being inconceivable, but you don't know the word going in. You have to figure out what the word is and then put it in the arch. At a point, everybody gets to the end, and you have Joe and Jonathan and Aubrey kind of all joining in, telling each other, and Rizzo even, and they're all talking, trying to get Joe or Jonathan to solve the puzzle, making sure that it's not Tiffany because they want their plan to come to fruition. They want Tiffany to go home. And all the eyes, and you keep seeing, and Tiffany's just working slowly. She's trying to figure out the word, but Then Jonathan and Joe, they both have words together, and they're just literal letters away, and you're just waiting at any moment to hear, Joe, you've won individual immunity, or Jonathan, you've won individual immunity. But it doesn't come. Tiff stays the course, and Tiff pulls in the most clutch win of the season so far. An amazing immunity win, a lovely immunity win. As somebody who is a big Tiffany supporter this late in the season, I love to see it. You know, she lives to fight another day. But now, as a result of Tiffany winning the new plan formed by, it seems like Aubrey based on the edit, is to get Cirie out, which is like, double-edged sword. You keep Tiffany, one of my two people, and now you have to get rid of Cirie, the other one that I was rooting for that's left in this game. I guess. I hope Cirie can find a way to survive as well. Rizzo's fully on board. You know, he can't stay loyal to anybody. He just cut Ozzy the last episode, literally. So this is who Rizzo is at this point. Cirie has suspicion it's her, and she's looking to flip it on Aubrey by kind of putting out there that, hey, you know, the way that I knew that, the way I even knew that it could have not been Tiffany is because Aubrey came to me and let me know. And she was really trying to pull it out. Rizzo finds out about this, about Aubrey going to Jonathan and telling that, but he couldn't say anything, because if he did, then Jonathan would realize that Rizzo was the one who leaked the plan to Cirie. And so he's kind of like, yeah. But even with her big efforts, in the end, Cirie goes home, and she goes home at 6. She played a great game, a fantastic social game, as always. I mean, it's Cirie. What do you expect? But unfortunately, in the end, she just can't get it done. And it leaves us with our final 5. Heading into the finale, our final 5 is Jonathan, Tiffany, Rizzo, Aubrey, and Joe. Now, let me ask you an honest question, people that are watching the video. Did you think this would be the final 5 at the end of the season? Be honest. When we get names like D, and we get names like Cirie, and we get names like Ozzy, and, you know, all of these big characters like Q, did you think that it would be Tiffany, Aubrey, Joe, Jonathan, and Rizzo at the end of it all? Because I certainly didn't. Now, let me say again and reiterate, I am 100% Team Tiffany. Let's go all the way. I would be fueled if Tiff wins that final 5 immunity challenge, because I feel like she can hang in fire making. If it comes down to fire making, I like Tiff, bro. Tiff is a competitor. She's gonna find a way to make it through fire, whether she be one of the 2 selected, or if for some reason somebody decides to take her with them at the end. Or an alternative, if she somehow wins final 5 immunity and final 4 immunity, that would be perfect case scenario. But yeah, man, an interesting course of events has led to this ending. Let's go Tiffany. Out of the other 4, I'm not a fan of any of them. I don't want to see any of them win. I would say probably the person I think's playing the best game out of those other 4 is Jonathan. But I do also see a course of winning for Aubrey. Rizzo and Joe, not sold on them at all, really, just being honest. So yeah, let's go Tiffany. Let's go Tiffany. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, comment down below what you thought. Click the subscribe button if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.